Hi, I'm Bethany Wallace, Content Manager for College Recruiter. I'm here with your Tuesday tip. College Recruiter is the leading interactive recruitment media company for college students and recent graduates. We help you find great careers and internships. You can follow us at collegerecruiter.com or on social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter at Entry Level Jobs. Today's Tuesday tip is all about how to network in person, specifically at networking events. I like to call these schmoozy events. So here are some tips for how to network in person at schmoozy events. I want you to keep in mind that first impressions, according to experts who have researched these sorts of things, are typically made within the first 7 seconds when you meet someone. So with that being said, it's also really important to remember that 70 to 90%, which is a big range, but researchers always argue about this sort of stuff, 70 to 90% of that first impression is made non-verbally. So it's really important how you act and look and behave before you ever open your mouth. So keep that in mind when you go to those events and prepare for them. First tip is before you go to a schmoozy event, make sure that you actually eat, which sounds crazy because they're going to feed you anyway. But you don't want to rely on that food to fill you up. So don't go with an empty stomach and have your stomach be growling. Don't eat anything that's garlicky or stinky though, because you don't want people to not want to be around you. And you don't want to have to chew gum. Second tip is dress conservatively. Now's not the time to break out some wild mini skirt or fishnet hose or a really loud, crazy Hawaiian shirt. Save that for party with your friends. The third tip is smile. And smiling is great because it helps you feel better and people around you feel better. The facial feedback response tells us that what we do with our faces actually changes the way that we feel inside. And I believe that that hypothesis actually is true. The next tip is don't carry too much stuff in your hands. So keep a hand free at all times so that you can shake people's hands, exchange business cards, and things like that. The next tip is to prepare an elevator pitch in advance. What's an elevator pitch? It's basically your little spiel that you give someone in the time that it takes to ride an elevator with them. So how do you do that? Well, read the blog post that accompanies this video and I'll tell you, but I'm not going to tell you in the video because it takes too long. Next tip is talk less, listen more. So make sure that you actually listen to what other people say and don't just go on and on and on about yourself. Nobody wants to listen to somebody who jabbers too much, even if you're interesting. Next thing is to make sure that you give out your contact information. Preparing business cards is a good idea. They're really cheap. You can order them online through a variety of vendors. And make sure that you get other people's contact information. The worst feeling in the world is to meet somebody who is super interesting, works in the same field that you're interested in going into when you graduate, and to leave at the end of the night and just want to face palm because you forgot to get their business card. So try not to make that mistake. The next tip that I have for you is to really use people's names when interacting with them at a networking event. It helps put people at ease and also makes them feel like you're listening and paying attention to who they are, and people like feeling important. Then the last thing is to follow up. And you can do that first of all by getting their contact information, not forgetting to do that. And the other reason you want to follow up is because networking is not just about events. It's not just about social media, although adding people on social media is a good idea. But networking is about a lifetime of giving and receiving and helping people out. And then in turn, they help you out. So building your network is a really good way to further yourself in your career for a lifetime. And I hope these tips have helped you, and see you next week for the Tuesday tip on collegerecruiter.com.